So this is how to make a lino cut. You're going to need a piece of lino, an oil pastel, some cutters, which we'll come back to in a minute, the image that you're using. So the cutters will come later in the carving tools, and you can get different sizes that will give you different shapes when you're cutting, or different qualities of line. So the first step is to take your image, flip it over, apply some oil pastel on the back. And cover that image with the oil pastel, and this is just so that we can transfer the image to the lino. This is a good trick if you're just transferring it to another piece of paper. It's a posh way of tracing basically. But this is a drawing that we've prepped up earlier. I'm going to do it, which way up am I going to do it? I'm going to do it like that. So this is going to be the Earth floating in space eventually. So now what I'm going to do is transfer that image across to the lino. So for this, you need a sharp pencil. Okay, and I've sharpened that nice and tight, nice and sharp. I'm going to hold that on. You could be posh and tape it on. I quite like just doing that, folding it over like that, creasing the paper so it stays on for me, and then creasing the paper there so it stays on for me. But some people tape it on, it's up to you. So now what we're going to do is press on so that the oil pastel transfers across to the lino. So I'll just speed this section up now. And I've gone over the whole image with the pencil. I've left a few bits out which I'll add in later, but I hopefully have got the main image transferred across to the lino. So let's take a look. There you go. So I've now got the image transferred across to the lino. And I might trim that down slightly later on, but we'll see how we go. This is going to be black. So the next stage is for me to go back over this image and just work into it with a different pen, perhaps a Sharpie. So I've got a Sharpie here, and I like to just then go over my image with a Sharpie. I just find if you're using something as fat as this, when you come to use the cutting tools, just makes it a bit easier to see what you're doing. So I'm going to go back over now, and hopefully it'll just help me to see the lines that I'm going to be using. I'll keep referring to my original drawing as well. Okay, that's going to do for me. So now what I'm going to do is start cutting it out. Now, as I say, I've got a range of different tools here, and the idea is that I'm going to cut away the lino, so when I print, the areas remaining will be black. They'll hold the ink. So I'm going to leave all of this, and I'm going to leave the centre of the countries, and I'll carve away all the sea, and hopefully that will do is leave a nice clear crisp image. So when you're cutting, make sure you cut away from yourself. You can turn the lino to suit you, so you don't have to move your body too much. And then, see how straight away I've said, oh, don't like that at all, I'm going to switch to this one. Now you can, if you want to, pop it on the radiator first. It just warms it up, makes it a bit easier to carve. I don't feel like I need to do that for this piece. So what I'm going to do now is spend ages carving away Now you notice, look, I'm trying to make sure that my hand's not in the way, so I'm not going to go take a big chunk out of my hand. So I'm now going to spend ages carving all this away, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've carved it all out. What I tend to do is I'll leave a little bit. If I'm not sure about something, I'll leave a little bit, and then after I've printed it, I can then cut away a bit. You can't add back, so it's better to leave bits that you're unsure of, print it, have a look what it looks like, and then cut away again. So now what I'll do is I'm going to get all the printing gear together, and then we'll go on to print the print. Okay, so we've now carved out the lino, and we're going to start printing it. So I've got some printing ink, some block lino printing ink. This is pretty cheap stuff, but it does work. I've got 2 rollers. I poured out the ink onto this laminated bit of plastic. Roll my ink. And just roll it up onto the board. And then when you're happy, I always take a piece of paper first. This way I know where it's going to sit on the paper. So lay it on my paper. This way I know when I do my print it's going to sit like that. Then get my paper, match it up to the edge, drop it on there like that. Clean roller, plenty of pressure. Okay, when you're done, it should just peel off nicely. And there's our print.